Hello, guys. Hey, I'm Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran, and I'm here today to talk about Black Panther being white. And I'm not even making this up. At first, I thought it was a joke. We've all talked about what if Ryan Gosling would be recasted as a Black Panther. And I kind of feel like Marvel, and there's probably more to it because I actually like Christopher Priest, the writer of this, but I kind of feel like Marvel maybe or wanting to cash in on that sweet meme. What if everything we do with stories and comics were just memes and what's trending on social media? And honestly, when I saw the solicitation for this book, and I first want everybody to know I'm not making this up. Marvel has a new Black Panther, and he will call his headline, spoiler, new Black Panther, not so black, kind of white, looks like he has blonde eyes, white skin, blonde hair, Caucasian, absolutely. I'm not making this up. So this was solicited with Pride Month stuff, which was the headlines for the month. Now, I did take note because it was Joe Quesada, who is no longer an employee of Marvel Comics. Now he's right back to freelancer. They kind of got rid of him. He used to be the chief creative officer, he birthed Marvel Knights. And this book is supposed to be kind of like an anniversary thing here. But he was part of even the Brain Trust that was part of the original MCU like consultants with Jeff Loeb and Brian Michael Bendis and stuff like that, that he was involved with some of the decisions to make sure Hollywood did capture these characters, of the hearts of these characters in the movies. Now, he's been cast out from the company. He's no longer there, but there is this one book, which I have no idea really how long it's been worked on, because I remember a couple of years ago, there being a picture of him and Christopher Priest at New York Comic Con or something like that, or eating or something like that. And there was a bit of a rumor mill that, Christopher Priest was going back to work at Marvel, which he had worked at Marvel on the original Marvel Knights. Talented writer. Black, by the way. We're in the world where I actually have to say this before everybody starts losing their minds, that we have a white Black Panther. Now, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we got here. So the book in question is kind of like an anniversary future issue where T'Challa is not doing so great. It looks like he's going to die. Obviously old, sure, but who's going to be the heir to the throne? And it looks like he's battling some new Black Panther. I haven't read the book, so, for what it's worth, I don't know everything about it. But clearly you can see that the guy here is black, which is the old Black Panther, and he's battling a young son. A lot of spoilers here, but it does refer to some old characters from his past. I can't remember this girl's name, but it seemed like the book hadn't originally published that she was in. But there was an old fling from the past created by Roy Thomas, and they're kind of implying that he left her with a baby all those years ago, and this baby's come back to battle for the throne. He's all decked up, got his own little outfit here. Now, the suit he's wearing does have kind of like a tiger skin attached to it. Now, this isn't, to the keen of eye here, the guy that actually knows their stuff, this does kind of is reminiscent a little bit. The belt, the torso outfit of the original Black Panther design that was proposed for this character, which did not, obviously looks a little bit different. You guys will notice he has not a mask. Now, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were trying to create some black characters for the MCU, and Black Panther was one of them. Yes, it was created by a guy that wasn't black, and again, I think they were thinking of calling him the Coal Tiger. I can't make this up. I know a lot of people are going to get bent out of shape about this, but you can guys go look up the original design for Black Panther. Now, on top of that, to make this a little bit more spicy, let's get on that spice level after he beats the crap of his old pappy here. Dumb beat him up. He's the new I am the king now of Wakanda. Let's pull that mask off, and it is. I'm not making this up. Everybody thinks this is a troll. Now, it's going to get headlines. Hence the Pride Month thing I brought up before. So when I saw this in solicitations, I was like, this might be a book I actually want to buy. I have been a fan of Joe Quesada's artwork in the past. Christopher Priest is on it. It's Marvel Knights. I like Marvel Knights. You know, hey, I might pick it up. Might consider looking at it, you know, see what's going on and what life back on the street of freelancing looks like for Joe Quesada. But I was surprised it was just getting thrown out with all the Pride Month stuff that obviously Marvel was leaning into in the solicitations. And I was like, well, how? They don't even care if this thing sells. They don't even really care. But this was always going to make headlines. They knew it. They knew they didn't need to advertise it because the world and the internet would blow up that there was a Ryan Gosling, you know, blonde, white-skinned, blue-eyed devil as Black Panther. Woo! They kind of did. They kind of did. And I find that humorous because I've worked in comics for 20 some years. And I know the thinking mechanism behind the publishing giants that are Marvel and DC. And stuff like this is done to make headlines. It is. This video, this decision was done to make you talk about this book. Now, it's probably going to trigger this to go into a second printing. It's going to, yeah. The problem I have with it, it will cause outrage, but it can also, is this race baiting? Is this rage baiting? Like, what, like, is this going to cause more problems than it's worth? You know, things like that. Now, going back to the history of Black Panther, the original Black Panther, it was very important that to Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, you know, when he was going to first appear in Fantastic Four, you would see the point of this character was a black man being a superhero. That was a big part of the design of this character. Hence, when they went through the design change and they're like, no, we're not going to go with Cold Tiger or whatever it is. It was inked and drawn that you would still see kind of like more of a Batman Daredevil cowl where you would see the skin color of the character, right? Because again, this was about representation, even way back then. But when it went to see print, they had to cover up his face, full facial shadow here. You could not see the color of this character's skin. And they would lean into the name Black Panther a little bit more as they literally blacked out the character's face from the pencils or inked version over here. And, you know, it wouldn't be revealed to maybe the next issue when he pulls off his mask, or maybe it's at the end of this issue. I can't remember, but he does pull off his mask and announces to the Fantastic Four he's a black man. So why couldn't that be on the cover? Well, at the time of this comic, it was felt that you could not put a black superhero on the newsstand. And because of that, it was covered up. This character went through multiple costume designs, but the whole point of the character was that you would know he's black. Now, this is going to bring me to a weird part of this video. When you really think about it, with these fully masked superheroes, you know, like, say, Spider-Man, Black Panther, good examples. Two great examples there. The rest of the MCU universe, unless they shared their secret identity, they don't know what color they are. You know, the average person in New York doesn't really know if Spider-Man's black or white. They just know he's swinging around. They just know, you know, he's webbing people up and stuff like that. Unless he gets battle damage and his costume's torn, does somebody actually know the color of his skin? And again, with Black Panther here, nobody knew if he was what color he was until you got to the page where he pulled his mask off. And that's what's interesting with all of this stuff is, you know, Marvel obviously leaning in with the race of these characters. And this, I don't know, man, this is totally like Ryan Gosling coming in for Black Panther 2. You know, it's so weird. It's just so weird that this is the gimmick, right? That we're going to race swap a character. But it's really not. It's kind of more of the same. Like, we've already been changing the sexual identities of these characters, gender swapping their sexual preferences, all of that stuff. We went through all of it. So why wouldn't you take Black Panther, historically known and built to be a black superhero, and then have him beat up by his heir, which happens to be a blonde-haired white kid? I'm surprised and unsurprised at the same time that Marvel would do this. And again, that this is Joe Quesada, who maybe actually was working on this back when he was still chief creative officer of Marvel Comics. Now, he's not today when it publishes, but when he drew this and this was put into effect, Was it up under his hand as chief creative officer of Marvel Comics? I don't know. I'm kind of curious about that part of it. Nobody will actually really know. Was this a corporate? Technically, it's still a corporate decision because they're publishing it, but was it up under his corporate leadership when they decided to do this? What are your thoughts about this? As long as it's a good comic, I really don't care. But this is obviously trying to milk headlines. It's kind of a gotcha. You can't really call the writer a racist on this, because the guy that wrote it is black. You know, so it's kind of like a checkmate situation here. I'm kind of curious, though. I've seen a lot of Twitter comments. People are like, is this even real? A lot of people are in disbelief. They think it's a troll. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's real, but RILL. But, you know, that doesn't mean that it's not a troll. I mean, Marvel comic sales are down. They're having to do some stunts here to get people to even care about comics anymore. The MCU universe, the cinematic universe, is suffering a break-even box office at best right now. I don't know. This desperate plea, desperate times, right? If you guys will, please go check out also Anatomic. We're getting ready to launch this on the 15th. We have a 24-hour cover that will be available to those that sign up. And you get a lenticular card purchasing a secret tier. Those are very expensive, you know, kind of flipping image cards. Very nice plastic cards. So go sign up. The sign up is free. And if you guys are new to Inglorious Rex, you're in good time. This is a prequel to the series, but you can also pick up Inglorious Rex in our shop, 9livescomics.com, and you can, you know, try out the book before buying the prequel book if you want. I'll leave you guys with a trailer for this smash hit comic getting ready to come out by 9 Lives Comics, and we'll catch you guys again with another video.
If fighting was a god, I would worship him. I would bow to him. I would pray for victory. For he only grants opportunities. But behind every god lurks a devil. And the devil wants me to take a dive. My name is Anatomic. And this is how my legend was made.